Welcome to Talking Tactics, a podcast that gets you results. Each episode features a single tactic implemented with limited resources that moved the needle in enrollment in some way. I'm your host, Day Kibbles, Strategy Director at Ology, a marketing and branding agency for education. Join me every other week for discussions with some of the most clever folks in admissions and enrollment marketing, doing the work day to day, just like you. Talking Tactics is a part of the Enrollify network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites, linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered, all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Check them out at element451.com. Hello, listeners. Welcome to Talking Tactics. I'm your host, Day, and my guest today is Patrick Kelly. Patrick has over 23 years of experience in web marketing for higher education and healthcare organizations. He has a master's degree in writing from DePaul University in Chicago. And currently, he's the web content manager at Harper College, overseeing harpercollege.edu. I got to see Patrick's Hyatt web presentation last year, for which he won the Red Stapler. That's the Best of Track award if you're not a big Red Stapler fan like I am. His talk was about using generative AI to create web content. And he's actually going to share exactly what he did in our episode today. He's going to talk to us about how his team wrote 70 SEO optimized program pages in only 8 weeks using generative AI and saw a 217% increase in clicks on the college's website. Welcome, Patrick.
Hi, Dea. It's good to see you.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for being here. So, this is an award-winning talk we're talking about right now. What were you trying to do or solve? Like, where did it all start?
It all started back in 2022. We were gifted this new module. It displayed labor market data from Lightcast. The module is called Pathways. Basically, what you could do is you could kind of summarize the labor market data for a number of different occupations in like a scorecard and just kind of put that on your website. So, for instance, with our accounting program, all the occupations associated with accounting, we could put that on our website, get like average salaries, number of job postings in our area, how many people are currently employed in that field.
Every school wants this data, right? Like everything right now is like job outcome obsessed.
Yeah. And so our academic side of the house was kind of pushing us to put this on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And the question was how. So, I looked through some of the other schools that were using Pathways, and this scorecard just kind of looked like it was plopped on the site in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want it to look like that. So we decided each career would have its own page with the scorecard, but also have this other kind of element to Pathways, which was links into these really detailed occupation descriptions that had a lot more information, had some
Mm-hmm.
really good information about like what you do in that job. And like it even breaks out those job hirings by like age and
oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah.
and like whether, like how many people had associate degrees, how many people had bachelor's degrees, masters, etc. Had top employers in the area. So that was all like really good stuff. In fact, I think it was a little more compelling than like the scorecard
Mm-hmm.
type stuff. Unfortunately, the scorecard didn't like link into those profiles. So we had to kind of put them separately. That's kind of why we made these pages.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also an opportunity to do SEO.
Right. Yeah.
So we could use this labor market data to generate like unbranded traffic to our site.
Right. Because people are looking for how to become X job, right? And like you want them to find the Harper College solution to that, right?
Exactly.
All right. So you have all this data, you have all this content, you need to put it on the site, but you want it to make sense. So like what idea did you have to make it make sense?
We needed to write some career description, like overviews.
Yeah.
That kind of explain like what's this all about? That's a big task for like 70 programs. And I'm the only editorial person on the
Oof.
team. We've got a designer, we've got a developer,
Yeah.
we had some students, but you know, the task of writing all these would fall on me basically. I just didn't
And
have that kind of time because I'm the manager also of the team, so I have
yeah.
just a lot of other stuff going on.
And I mean, I can imagine just thinking about how do you write 70 distinct and compelling things? At some point, you're just like, job, task.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, maybe I could get the students to do some of the research and we could
Mhm.
just kind of,
Yeah.
maybe I could take their research and then write. So I was thinking about how to do that. But then I, I read this news story about OpenAI.
Hmm.
And they just come out with, or maybe made some update to DALL-E, their
Hmm.
image generator. I'd seen some things about AI, and I know they could generate content. I started looking into AI, like, can it really write real things in the
Hmm.
real world?
Hmm. And
Um,
this was like late 2022 or is it early?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it wasn't like Chat GPT, the big update that they
Right.
made a big splash, hadn't happened yet.
Right.
So
So
there wasn't
you're
anything.
pioneering. You were pioneering out there.
I was blazing the trail. No, but there are a couple products out there like
Hmm.
Jasper.ai
Hmm.
that use ChatGPT's technology, but made it easier to like break into it. Um, and of course, you had to pay for that. So,
Hmm.
um, but I ended up talking to my boss and asking if we could pay a little bit of money to test out Jasper AI.
Anything to not write these 70 pages.
Exactly. Yes. So I started playing around with it. I mean, I'd never used AI before, so
Hmm.
my very first prompt was something really generic, like write about a career in accounting. And what it gave back to me was something equally generic.
Yeah.
It gave me this really like inflated,
Oh, yeah. It does
hyperbolic,
that.
like overly enthusiastic sales pitch on
Yeah. Accounting.
a career in accounting. Yeah, so with exclamation points in a lot of cases.
So for some reason, this is just not jiving in my brain, but yeah.
Yeah, so like I can't use this.
Mhm,
Sometimes they were in first person, which
mhm,
is really weird to
mhm,
like think
mhm.
about how that would go on our website. So yeah, I was having no luck with it. Um,
But
but
you persevered. You persevered.
I did. Yeah. So we had like a 7-day trial or something like that. After 7 days, we get charged. So I had to make a decision pretty quick. And I was getting close to just canceling it.
Mhm,
But I had this idea and I thought, what if I overload the prompt with, there was no like like character limit on the prompts
mhm, mhm.
that I know of. You could put a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
What if I just put all kinds of really precise keywords in there about accounting or whatever the career was, and just stuffed it with keywords?
Yeah.
Would that give me something that's a little more usable, a little more specific, targeted? Like it sounds like it's more for higher ed. Um, I also found that if I use like a couple really targeted words like you,
Mhm.
it would write in the second person, like it would write you
Okay.
um, instead of writing in like the first person.
Interesting. Okay.
So I played around with that and I had a lot more luck. It gave me some really usable content that way. It would start using some of the keywords that I was supplying it. Not
Hmm.
all of them, because I was putting a lot in there.
Mhm, mhm.
But it would kind of pick out the important things. And then it would make a more, you know, sensical,
Yeah.
robust intro for these occupations. So I was pretty happy about that.
Good. So, okay, you had this 70-page monumental task. Jasper.ai seemed to be able to do it after you've played around with the prompt for a bit within your
Yeah.
7-day trial.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? How did you turn that into 70 pages?
So once I had kind of a formula down, I turned to my best friend, the spreadsheet,
The
Google
spreadsheet.
Sheets. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I made a spreadsheet. I had, on each row would be whatever program we're talking
Mm-hmm,
about,
mm-hmm,
say accounting. And then the columns were just different aspects of that career. So like the job title, the industry,
mm-hmm.
what they produce,
So
etc.
you mentioned once you came up with a formula. What was that formula?
The formula was taking uh, all those attributes. So
Yeah.
we're like collecting attributes like job titles,
Yeah.
like work outputs, and just merging them together
Yeah.
into one like giant prompt.
So the prompt needed job titles, like work attributes, pay, maybe that kind of thing, all in it.
Like work
Yeah.
environments. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then all of those things that you kind of played around in Jasper turned into a column on your spreadsheet. Is that how it worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah. So then what I would do is once I had the spreadsheet down, um, I turned to my student workers. I
Mm-hmm.
had 3 student workers at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and they were all really great. And I kind of showed them how to just scrape our website,
Mm-hmm.
scrape this pathways module that we had, scrape it for the keywords that we're looking for. So like,
Mm-hmm.
here's where you go to find some job titles and
Mm-hmm.
just pick out a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry too much about getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
Just put whatever you think is best in there. And so they put like 5 or 6 different job titles in there, and that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I had them do this for
The
all 70
70.
programs. Yeah, so that took a little while,
Some
but it
some
also
copy
took the
paste.
burden off me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
copy paste magic. Can never go wrong.
exactly, exactly. So once we had all 70 prompts, we could then take the prompt, and I also had the students do this, and just put it into Jasper.
For the folks who might not know how you jump from a spreadsheet to the prompt, how
Yes.
did that process work?
It was pretty much copy paste because the spreadsheet, what I what I would do is they're putting these attributes in different columns,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just concatenate them into one.
That's the official equal concatenate function.
Yes, yes. I always think of cats when I see that.
Concat. Yes.
Yes,
So you were kind of joining all of these columns into one big text string, basically.
yeah, one block of
Yeah.
text that they could copy and paste.
Did you have any like words in between or
I did, yeah, and that was maybe just for me. I don't even know if it was necessary,
for the
but
model? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I would put the word like you in
Mm-hmm.
there, so it'd be like learn more about accounting as as a job title here.
Mm-hmm.
You would do duties
Work
here,
function. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of structured like that,
Okay.
and all like that you would be in the
Okay.
formula.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And so then you ended up with just these big blocks of text that were essentially your prompt.
Right.
Cool.
Right. And so
Awesome.
we copied and pasted the prompt into Jasper for
Mm-hmm.
each program,
Mm-hmm.
and it outputs 3 different versions that you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of pick from.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the students copy that version, each one of the versions, and paste it back into the spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
This just helped me keep everything in one place.
Yeah,
And I
totally.
would just go through the spreadsheet and just pick out the best one, or sometimes merge them,
Yeah.
and I would just copy and paste that into our web pages.
That's incredible. That's so easy.
It was a lot easier than it could have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all right. In theory, this all sounds after you played around with Jasper and figured out what the prompt needed to be, like it all sounds pretty straightforward. Did you have any other challenges come up as you were doing this? Hey, it's Day here, and I want to personally invite you to the industry's hottest event this summer, the Engage Summit, hosted in Raleigh on June 25th and 26th. The Engage Summit is your roadmap for AI readiness in higher education. Sessions will focus on cutting edge AI applications that are reshaping student outreach, enhancing staff productivity, and offering deep insights into ROI. This is not your typical conference. It's a strategic summit where you'll learn from the best about leveraging AI and digital strategies in higher ed marketing. Imagine 2 days filled with hands on sessions, real success stories, and the chance to network with top minds in the field. You'll leave with practical, transformative takeaways as you learn how AI fosters a more personalized, efficient approach from recruitment to student success. Oh, and the best part? The Engage Summit is incredibly affordable. Use the discount code Enrollify50, that's 50, and you can register for just $99. So, join your favorite Enrollify network creators at the Engage Summit this June. Learn more and register at engage.element451.com. We can't wait to see you there.
Well, really, the challenge was kind of getting to the point where we could start using Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we got gifted this, so
Mm-hmm.
we had to kind of figure out what to do with it, and there wasn't a lot of information about like what job titles went with what programs of ours.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I turned to our students and I said, let's
Google it.
configure let's configure pathways, and here's how you can figure out which jobs go with that program. And and it's, again, just about like glancing through what information we had about the program, maybe like what classes there were
Mm-hmm.
uh, required for each program, and just kind of looking for keywords
Mm-hmm.
and finding an occupation that went along with those.
Mm-hmm. And how
Um,
did they do that? Did they Google it actually, or did they look in the data?
I say you can use whatever resources you need,
Yeah.
but I had them start on our website. So
Right.
accounting has its own like program page that says everything we have already been saying about accounting, like
Yeah.
uh, and just kind of glance at that. But you can also use Google. You can use whatever resources are necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, so the student that I had doing this primarily had just started in 2022, like when we got this project. I'm like, welcome to Harper. Here's this crazy thing I'm going to have you do.
But I bet they're
uh,
so grateful now because they're like
yeah.
AI pioneers.
Yes, exactly. So she did a fantastic job of just figuring out like what occupations go with our programs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like to ask a student to do that,
Mm-hmm.
who'd never thought about higher education before,
Mm-hmm.
is you know I I like to think I put a lot of faith in my
Mm-hmm.
student workers, and they're really great. They're
Well, you know
fantastic.
what? It
So
might have actually ended up opening a lot of doors for her because now she knows what she can do with her program.
there you go. Yeah, well, she started out as a scenography
Yeah.
student, but she, after working on our team, she changed her her major
Yeah.
to web. So now she's doing
Oh,
web
hey,
development.
that should make you feel really, really good about yourself.
It really does,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So it was kind of challenging to interpret the data or like fill in all the blanks of the data. Were there any other challenges around using this tool or generating content this way, especially because you're talking about programs, right? And I know that faculty members have opinions about these things. Did you
Yeah,
encounter any challenges to implement the copy?
not so much with the copy itself. Uh, it's more about like the the product and the data. There was one person who didn't like what the Lightcast data, or maybe it was the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was saying about his program.
Okay.
So there was some of that. There was some, I mean, there's always going to be like little disagreements and stuff, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I would say people were just pretty cool with like how it was set up. You know, we are going back through it and just expanding on the information now, because I even though it's um, even though it's generating a little bit of search traffic, it's you have to keep updating it, expanding it if you want to really.
It needs love.
It does. It
All
does.
right.
So it's been about a year. So
Yeah.
it's about time. So
Yeah. So you hinted
we're
at it. You hinted at search traffic. And this is what our listeners, I'm sure, are waiting for. What happened? What happened? Let us know the results.
after we posted the original pages again with no content, right? I sort of let it go until after the start of the semester. So
Hmm.
we did that in July.
Hmm.
We launched these pages in July with just stats on them,
Hmm.
essentially. And that again, that made the academic side of the house happy, but it wasn't like an SEO driver.
Hmm.
Um, we really had almost no traffic to those pages, and you would think like as the semester was starting, people were clicking around, looking at different things on the site that they would, encounter it and stuff.
Hmm.
It really was minimal traffic. Um, so we weren't getting the kind of traffic you would hope for just navigationally in
Yeah.
our site. So we really, really needed that SEO element to it. So we started developing these in like mid September of
Okay.
22, and uh, probably finished like late October, early November, and looking at the year to year difference between those two, we had a 217 increase in clicks for all those pages combined,
That's incredible.
and
That's
166% increase in impressions.
that's incredible, right? That's so cool.
Yes. Yeah, I was pretty pleased with it. Again, this whole thing was about search for me.
Yeah. So
So,
so speaking of that, so were people coming in off search engines to those pages?
yes. Yeah, they were coming in through Google search primarily.
Wow.
Um, Again, I don't think there's been a huge increase in like the navigating to the page from other
Yeah.
parts of the site. Um, one of the striking things about it was we saw a really huge increase in the number of unbranded queries
Oh,
to
wow.
those pages as well, which is really like that's exactly what we wanted for
That's
these
the
pages.
dream, right? Like
Yeah.
you're getting discovered based on people
Yes.
looking for these careers.
Exactly. People who
Wow.
are looking for Harper but don't know they're looking for Harper,
That's
that's
right.
who we wanted on
But you
these
belong at
pages.
Harper, everyone.
Yeah. So for unbranded queries, it was a 226% increase in impressions and a 358% increase in clicks.
358.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, coming from a starting a layer, very low baseline. So yeah,
That
but
I mean,
I was happy with it.
this is why this won a red stapler. This is just astounding. I love it. Were there any other kind of intangible results? Like what did this open any doors for you?
Well, I think it got us really working with AI more. You know, it
Mhm.
really opened up the possibilities of AI to me.
Mhm.
Um, and when ChatGPT launched its new version later in the year, I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
better check into that. So I started using ChatGPT and Google Bard
Mhm.
and Adobe Firefly and some of the other tools that are out
Mhm.
there, and really trying to find all the possibilities that are available to make my life easier. I already knew AI could make my life
Mhm.
easier, my job easier. So I'm like trying to find all the ways that it could help. So yeah, I started
Mhm.
doing data analysis with AI, and Google Bard is really great for data analysis, by the way,
I
because
love Google Bard, but I don't know if my listeners know this. I live in Canada and there's no Google Bard here yet. So anytime I'm in the US, I'm like in Bard. Like I am at the airport doing something in Google Bard every time.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It connects with your Search Console data. It
Hmm.
connects with your Google Analytics data. So you can ask it questions like, "What are my top performing pages?" And it'll tell you.
Wow.
Yeah, and it can give you like a really kind of deep analysis of your site too, which I don't think any of the other ones can really do that
Oh, like a
well.
whole audit.
Yeah, yeah. So you can. Yeah, I had this project where we had someone who was kind of debating about what the name of their program should be.
Hmm.
And I used Bard to help me make recommendations based on what would be the best keywords
Yeah.
for to put in the program's title.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that. It's like it's really great for that. And I used big chunks of what it told me in the report. So it basically wrote the report for me. So
Wow,
in some
that's
ways,
incredible. I
yeah.
think there's at least 6 different ideas in this episode for folks to try.
I hope so. I hope this has been helpful for people.
Yes, thank you so much for being on the show today, Patrick. I really think AI is going to be a game changer, or already is a game changer. And to my beloved listeners, thank you for hanging out with us for yet another episode. I really do hope that you're trying the tactics that you hear here yourself, so you too can keep walking the walk and talking the tactics. The Talking Tactics podcast is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions pros find their next big idea and feature a selection of the industry's best as your hosts, like Jamie Hunt, Allison Tercio, Jenny Lee Fowler, Jeremy Tiers, and so many of your other favorite leaders in higher ed too. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered, all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Check them out at element451.com.